Welcome everyone to the March 2022 Becky's Anonymous live stream. We are excited and honored to start our three-part series in collaboration with the Neighborhood Birth Center in Boston, Massachusetts. To share a little bit about the NBC, their vision is that birth experiences and outcomes improve for all through the integration of the first freestanding birth center in Boston. Their mission is to offer comprehensive midwifery care through pregnancy, labor, birth, and postpartum period by integrating an independent freestanding birth center in Boston's healthcare and community landscape. Next year, they are planning a 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art spa-like center to be co-located with artists, activists, and healers. The next part in this collaborative series is an invitation to witness their next fireside chat about white people and collective liberation, called Finding Our Own Skin in the Game. It will be on their Instagram Live on March 29th at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time. The third part of this series will be a discussion with a board member from the Neighborhood Birth Center that will be in our next live stream in April. We'll discuss why is access to full spectrum maternal health care essential to achieving universal liberation? How is the NBC achieving its vision to improve birth experiences and outcomes for all? And how can white women step up in a good way to support people on the front lines of making this vision a reality? We want to share a call to action from Nashira Burrell, the visionary behind the Neighborhood Birth Center. A little bit about her. She is the daughter and granddaughter of midwives who birthed both of her children at home and has experienced firsthand the transformative experience and liberation of midwifery support. With a master's degree in maternal and child health from Boston University School of Public Health and nearly 20 years of experience designing and implementing public health strategies to advance racial equity, Nashira brings a structural analysis and somatic practice to the design and implementation of public health strategies that advance justice and equity. We want to share this call to action from Nashira Burrell for all of us.
My sister Ndidi spoke no word of a lie about the inequities. They are not natural. There is nothing inherently higher risk about being pregnant while Black other than living in a society that is structured on a racial hierarchy with us at the bottom. But there's an important piece to note that when we say 4 times more likely, 200% more often, it's always relative to the white rate. That is a big illusion that we should aim to close the gap to align Black birth outcomes with those of white folks. What I learned in surveying for the birth center was that for white cis women with a graduate degree or higher, earning over $200,000 in the greater Boston area, they reported horrible experiences in childbirth and pregnancy. They felt disrespect. One person reported that the nurses made fun of her vocalizations while she was in labor. And another said she felt like she was birthing in a machine. Let us not be fooled. The maternal health system is not working well for anyone. We have to get clear about this. When we zoom out and look at measures of infant mortality or life expectancy across the 37 OECD or economically developed countries, the US has horrible outcomes compared to those other 37 countries. And get this, listen to me clearly here. If we took the white population of the US as a country in and of itself, it would still fare at the bottom of that scale of those 37 countries. We get just a hair better than the entire United States if the white population of the United States was its own country. What a distraction to try to close the gap to level Black outcomes to those of white folks. So let me pause and make a call into white folks who are here today. Please receive the call to justice and liberation from a place that is clear about your own skin in the game. Do not fight racism because it is bad for Black people. My friend says it's the same reason why we do not want men to fight patriarchy, because they feel bad for women, because they can give that shit up tomorrow. Excuse me. Let's get clear that it's not working well for anybody. Now, let's also be clear, it's better across all measures and outcomes for white folks, but your freedom is an illusion.
So let's receive the call in to find our own skin in the game. This month's action toolkit includes donate to help NBC launch in 2023. Follow them on social media and tune in to their fireside chat. And join us next month for part 3. We look forward to seeing you this Wednesday in our growth circles. To close, here's Nashira's invitation for all of us to imagine the reality we want to create. Thank you all for tuning in, and we see you on Wednesday.
What does a new world look like when it comes to pregnancy and childbirth? So let's imagine, or reimagine really, because all of our ancestors knew this to be true. Before we had pathologized physiologic birth. So join me for a moment as I wrap up. Close your eyes if you want. Put your hand on your heart, on your womb if you want. Raise a fist if you want. Feel the support of Mother Earth under your feet. Take a deep breath and imagine with me the energy of our first birth center, a beautiful spa-like place that could rival any Newberry Street salon, with fine linens, plush robes, infused water and tea. It is lovingly staffed by midwives providing full spectrum care throughout pregnancy, labor, birth, and the postpartum period. There is wraparound care from mental health providers. There's chiropractic, Reiki, yoga, massage, an apothecary with sacred herbs. I see a welcoming, joyful place to relax, to connect, to be seen, and to see others. It is an organization operationalizing equity from who holds the contracts to how the organization is governed to who entrusts us with the care during the most powerful and transformative time in their lives. There is a sense of belonging. And when I listen closely, I can hear children asking questions about bellies and boobies, answered lovingly by caring adults who are witnessing their transformation to sibling and expanding their worldview. There is a calmness in the space that comes with people experiencing healthcare, where our full selves, our bodies, our traumas, and our identities and our relationships are honored. It is led by people of color, and because it is so, everything from policy to space to programming has been designed with an eye to justice and liberation and an eye to checking embodied white supremacy and heteropatriarchy. When I close my eyes, I feel Neighborhood Birth Center as a place where everyone gets free. There have been powerful studies to demonstrate the safety, cost savings, outcomes, and intergenerational healing made powerful by investing in community birth centers. Yet, as in a city as rich in healthcare resources and endowed wealth as Boston, Black, queer, trans, and disabled volunteers are rubbing 2 pennies together to open our first birth center. Dissonance. The question is now, what is getting in the way? We have to reconcile the dissonance between our espoused belief in equity and justice and our relative inaction, the threat of returning to normalcy, the desire to return to normalcy. Arundhati Roy also wrote, "Another world is not only possible, she is coming. And on a quiet day, I can hear her breathing." So when I listen and I tune into a belief in abundance, I know, and when I look at you, I know that there is the wisdom and will to grow and leverage full spectrum capital for this birth center and every birth center around the country that is being asked in this moment, are you open? We need you. Thank you.